So thank you very much for joining us on Dr. James's One Cap Wonders, Julie.
Hi, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I'm excited and yet, yeah, excited.
That's good. Tell me, football for you, how did it all come about?
Um, I had brothers, uncles that played, born in a street of boys, so they played football and cricket. So if I wanted to have any friends to play with, I would have to try and get in with them. And I believe I was 9 years old knocking on the door asking them if I could play. So they tell me anyway when I meet up with them, and I did. That we were bashing the ball on a bush, somebody's bush on the corner street, playing headers and volleys, and they let me play, and then I'd go over to the fields and ask to play, and the boys would say, "No, you're a girl, you can't play." Oh, hang on, we need a goalkeeper. So they'd put me in goal, and I'd try and smash me to bits, and I got good in goal. And I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, you've got to come out of goal. You can't go in goal now." So I come out on the field, and I got good on the field, and that's it. You just had to get good to continue to play. So I never always regard myself as that good, but yeah, I think in my era there was quite a few of I was a midfield player, but playing with the boys and having to prove myself. And then I got spotted in the streets at 13 for a women's team. And then I went and played for a women's team, which then became Brighton of Albion.
And
Yeah.
were you aware that there were many women's teams back then for you or your family or your parents?
Not at all, not at all. Didn't know it even existed. And in a way, it barely existed because you're playing on we used to practice on the seafront. We'd have to find a little five concrete court to practice in. I mean, it was just hidden away. They were just like these hidden gems away. Like the women's, we'd have to play on a Sunday because the boys and men played on the Saturdays. So it was a tough time back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But yeah, the more girls that started playing, the more the women's team established themselves, and the leagues got better. And then we helped develop the national league where you needed an enclosed ground, so we'd have to go and beg, steal, or borrow, to play in one of these things. And we did actually. We said, "We'll use your social club 2 nights a week, to help you get money," and they let us use their ground. So that's when it all started becoming a little bit more serious, and I was always ultra serious. I just part of my nature. We got brought up with watching England. If there was an England game, we had to watch it, you know, whether you're a boy or girl. And we'd watch the FA Cup. I mean, we'd spend all day as a family just watching those things, and of course, having boys in the street that wanted to play and let me play. Um, it's great. I mean, I actually took my legacy cap uh, to my friends that were in the estate where we grew up. And one of the guys, he had tears in his eyes. He said, "Oh, this is amazing. Thanks." Because they let me play in the streets with them. And I said, "Well, thanks to you guys. You helped me get this." So it was really quite nice, actually. I did that last year.
Oh, wow.
This year. No, this year. Yeah, we went to White Talk FC, which is where I got brought up, and we played on the streets, and there was about six of them there, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was quite a moment, actually.
Yeah, no, I can imagine because it was full circle.
Yeah, full circle, and then obviously played for Brighton GPO, which was then CNC Sports, and then Brighton of Albion. We got in with the club, played a couple of games at the Goldstone Ground, worked for them, and then got involved with the FA. So actually became the assistant manager of the national team for the '95 World Cup. So it was quite nice. I got my cap, but then I also got opportunities to help coach the next generation, which was really good. And then I became the first woman to be on the FA Council in 130 years to represent
Wow.
women and girls football. So it wasn't just fun anymore. It was serious fun trying to get development going. And sometimes you never think why me. I mean, I just happen to be interested in trying to drive it forward and right place, right time, you know. But playing and coaching has always been my thing. Yeah.
But in a way, you were probably the right person for that role because you had lived it all the
Yep.
way up, and
Yep.
and you'd not just seen it evolve, but you'd been part of making it evolve.
That's a good point, and yeah, I mean, it's nice to, I mean, it's nice, really nice to get our legacy cap and be number 58, like the 58th player to play for England, and it's such a honor, and it was a moment, and then of course the Lionesses are doing well, and all the other countries with their women's game, and it's all about the game. It's playing football. It's not, what sex you are. It's, can you play football? Do you want to play football? And here's an opportunity to play football. And then if you stop playing, what are you going to do? You're going to teach others. You're going to generate more kids. I mean, my job, football in the community for Brighton, was to go into schools and get girls playing football, go into clubs like Crowborough, Rye, all over Sussex, was to get them their girls and women's team, and we did a lot. We did a lot. It was great. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of kids over a number of years. Not just me. There was other people there. But now it's survived. I mean, the foundations were laid. We put in a good pathway. It's come along. I mean, even I'm amazed how much it's come along around the world, and that we still have a significant importance to be still continuing to support others to do it. And like, I love it because I go back as a fan. I have no stress, no pressure of picking out set plays. That used to be one of my jobs. Sort out the set pieces, and someone always move in the wrong spot. But as a player, I mean, I was tough. I was tough. I mean, the Northerners didn't think we were tough, but we didn't have to deal with all that cold you got up there. When we played North and South, and many of the players that I played with England, and we'd laugh about it, and we say, "Oh yeah, come the Southern softies," and I'm like, "Well, I'm playing here, aren't I?"
Yeah.
you know. So it's quite brilliant, really. I mean, so grateful and thankful for everything that it's given to me by being involved. And we used to have interviews with parents, with to try and get girls playing for the teams, because nobody knew about women's football. Nobody knew about, can girls play, should girls play, and even with the FA. I mean, I've sat in the raw box with other council members, and they've wanted to talk to me about women's football, and I'm like, well, go watch a game, go watch a game, then come and talk to me about it, and we'll have a good discussion. And it worked, because they come back and they're like, oh, we went and watched our local game and it was really good, and at that time, they were very interested, because suddenly, well, there's a female around, let's. And yeah, but I never really felt I had to prove anything. I was there because I knew more about women's football than they did. So it's simple, and I was happy to share. But on my grounds, really, like, well, you go and watch a little bit, and then we'll do it. And then of course the army, the navy, they all got teams as well. So it's just that little drop of happiness, if you like, and wanting to share and play, and I always say, if somebody asks you to do something, you should try and do it, because they never ask. And this is where females, there weren't many of us coaches, admin, athletic trainers, probably more than that, all working in men's clubs, probably. And now I said, make sure you do it, because we won't get asked again. And I think that's what I kind of live by, really, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like, somebody tracked me down. You did a good job, because you went via two clubs, and one of my parents actually sent it to me and said, "Hey, someone's looking for you."
But that's the problem. If you I can find men's footballers for the series. I've got them in from Croatia, from Denmark, from the Caribbean. There's and it's hard to get them, hard to lock them down, but it's possible. But there's data on them, and there's information that goes back through history on men's football. The challenge with women's football is that it wasn't documented that well for a long time. So it's hard to find those who were capped in the past. Um, and also, one thing I never thought about is people get married and their names change.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's very true. But they do have a better record now of
Much better.
because there's there's a historian that's taken root, and she's doing a good job. And there's nearly every player now has a number.
Good.
So it's just a case of putting the number to the name and then finding out which club area they played. And most of them, it's easy because it was either Southampton from the south and Doncaster Belles from the north. And there was just little Julie playing for Brighton, GPO, CNC Sports, Brighton of Albion. So I got in there, I think, because we had other midfielders playing abroad, and I just happened to be spotted and had a good game. I marked one of the other midfielders out of the game, and I thought that kind of got me the push up. But I mean, I always say to my players, like, you never know what's going to happen. You just have to continue to work hard, and if you get rewards, and the hardest part's getting there.
Yeah,
Then the next hardest thing is staying there.
it's
you
true.
know I,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, which is why there's probably a lot of turnover, because life gets in the way, like you say. People have children, they get married. I mean, I broke my kneecap. I was in the top form of my life. I was playing for England. I was great. I was loving it, loving life. Everything that I wanted was happening. And then a spanner gets in the works, and then that probably pushed me into coaching more. So then became a successful coach. So one thing shouldn't destroy another. And honestly, I've loved being involved with the Lionesses and what they do. I mean, I used to go to Wembley and sit in the grounds and not go to any. There wasn't anything for the women. And I remember back in 2022 when I came over, um, and Lionesses had they got their own place, and I'm like, this is amazing, and it was quite. We've come a long way, and it's great. I'm so happy that people and the pioneers, they do look after the pioneers, and there's going to be a next layer of pioneers, which is going to make it even better, because they've got look what they've got now. So how can you make what they got now better? Whereas we had nothing,
No.
really. I mean, we had people feeling sorry for us, that gave us a field. We'd have to put the nets up, and the guys did it as well. But it was, we used pickaxes to get the cornflakes in. We've done everything. It had to make tea and coffee, and honestly, every role you could think of in a club, one of us had to do it, because we wouldn't been able to exist otherwise. Because we're all volunteers and we paid to play. You
Julie,
know.
that's rough though. I get that was, but
Oh,
somewhere along the way, the national team came calling for you, and what was that like?
honestly, I thought I couldn't. When I got called up to go to Lilleshall, I was so excited, but I couldn't go because my parents didn't drive. So I went to training and I told my coach, and I said, "Well, I can't go." And then they said, "Yes, you're going." And they took me. They took me. There was
Oh,
two. So this is why I like to pay back as well,
yeah.
because if it wasn't for those people, my colleagues, my teammates, that could drive and wanted to give up their time, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I went to Lilleshall or Bisham Abbey, one of the places, and it was wonderful. And then of course over the next couple of years, you have to go to a few more trainings, and then you get your chance, and my chance was against Italy in Pescara in 1984, and then I had to sleep with my cap, right?
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
This is part of the
Oh.
course, which I was very, I was, I was like, okay, okay. But I was very honoured, and it was a great moment just going on and playing with some of the top players at the time was quite incredible, and even just the flight, the journey, watching people. Some people don't like flying; they do it because you want to put on the shirt, you want to do it as many times as you can, and even traveling with England when we were going to European games. I mean, it's an operation, but and you just talk to the ones that are nervous. You just we get ourselves through it. It's a team, you know. And that's how. But it was amazing to be part of it and go to all these different countries, walking out onto the field from the bottom of the stadiums, sitting in a Roman type theatre box. Watching a game, I mean, in Croatia and Slovenia and all these places, and it was just quite fascinating that we're there playing football. It's great.
And did you? It was different back then, I imagine. So now players can get loads of caps because there's so many friendlies, there's so many exhibition games, there's so many different competitions. Was it different back then?
You don't get caps for friendlies. You get caps for competitive games. So we all played in a number of friendlies, but we only get the cap for the game that you played. The you can have what was it? I think Farah Williams. She's the most capped player. So imagine playing all those games. Those are European championship games that count, you know. Whereas some of the others, only championship games and European games count. So, but it's the process and the feeling. I mean, I think players that have got many caps, worked always earn their spot. They worked in, and because it's hard work. I mean, even when we were looking at players, you look at formulas, you look at different things, who's playing well, you go to the clubs, you scout, you watch. It was harder back then when it was the WFA before the FA took over. But once the FA took over international football, everything changed to a more professional stature in the fact that we had resources. We always were professional with the women's FA, but we never had the resources. So it was always nickel and dime, and pay your own money, and because you wanted to play. But once we got involved with the Football Association, things changed, and I think it changed for the better. And we could see more players, and we could help more where we couldn't help before. Still baggy kits and oversized boots and all that stuff.
I'm from Ireland, and only up until about 10, 15 years ago, the women's team were given hand-me-downs. Um, and then it became quite a controversy because one of our players was nominated for the goal of the year against Ronaldo and Messi. And all of a sudden, the women's game got elevated. I think she played for Peamount United, and outside Dublin. Um, and it's interesting how even I'm 35 in my lifetime, when I was a teenager and as a young adult, there wasn't even the same level of professionalism, same level of respect, the same level of high profileness, if that's a term.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's changed, and I think generational's changed. I don't think it was on purpose that we got downed so many times. I think they just didn't know how to provide, and now we've kind of proven that we want to play. We're good. It's a different game. It's the same. It's the same title, but the women's game is different. It's you call it what you like. I think because it's not physical. The it is physical, but it's not about that. It's about passing and moving and making it a more of a slower level of methodically, if you like, just to play the game, because we some of us can hit a 75, 80-yard balls, but that's not what it's all about. And we could and we don't fall over a lot.
No, but
It's so funny.
aesthetically, it's actually more entertaining.
It is really,
There's more
yeah.
goals, there was better goals, and it's often more end to end, especially women's Champions League games are very, very good. For someone as a neutral like me who hasn't, like watching Leon, watching Barcelona, watching PSG women's teams, watching Arsenal, and then in Scotland we've got three teams with Rangers and Celtic, and then we've also got Glasgow City, and they're all very strong. So and it's all very interesting. It's actually you'll always get goals in women's football. While in men's games they can be pretty dour at times and pretty boring.
Yeah, I've turned a few off before. I've literally sat in a local derby and fallen asleep in the ground. You know, I'm not mentioning who they are, but that's probably, you're trying to do too many things as well. But yeah, it can switch you off. But I mean, I just get the English, the WSL and even the NWSL over here in the States. It's so entertaining,
It is, yeah.
and
It's fast,
and
really fast.
yeah, it's got faster. It's I mean, the athleticism of these players, but they can train every day. They got, and we never club. We just if we got hurt, we were hurt. You play or you don't play. Now it's I go down to Brighton's facilities. I have to. The women's, it's fantastic, the training ground. I mean I mean, they got boot warmers. I'm like, what are you, boot warmer, you're kidding, right? And they treat me very well when I go down there. And but the gym, the facilities, the field, the it's just, why wouldn't you want to play your best and do your best? We're walking out like that. And the support structure they have, they have counsellors and many people getting involved. And it's such great, it's a wonderful opportunity for people that like football, you know, to be able to do something,
No,
and it's obviously more data related and wear these things on their jerseys, and it just, everything's just, even over here. Some of the Division One colleges, that I know a lot of the coaches, and I'm like, uh, you, the players have to be, they're out there. And then half time they're in there, the software's downloaded, and they're showing you, this is what happened. This is what happened. Before we could get away with stuff, now you can't get away with it.
no, absolutely. What was it like as we move further away from your playing career into your coaching career? What was it like being the person who could give someone the opportunity to play for their country as the assistant manager of the national team?
Um, well, it's like any job that, especially when you're in it, new at it in some respects, not really knowing what to expect. You try and get on with it, but talking to players, and I still have friends with a lot of the players now, trying to help them and showing the rewards, like if what you've said helps, and then they have a good game or they get more caps, then yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to be able to, um you don't question it, you just do it. You just get on with it, because we need everybody to be at the top of their game for us to be successful. So the minute you see somebody, you know down, or something's happened, you try and help. Being an assistant manager, you can do that. I mean, the many phone calls I've had to make to players on behalf of the coach, to see, well, what's going on, or we need you back, we need your, attitude and stuff like that, and you do it because that's part of the job, part of the role, and I think you become good at anything that you do for a long time, and it was. very satisfying. And we got to the semis of the Euros with myself, and Ted Copeland was the head coach. And then we got to the last eight in the 95 World Cup in Sweden. Um, so that was really good. And then of course the Lionesses just roared after that, with the changes, and Hope did a good job. I mean, Hope was a player when I was assistant, and then she became the head coach for a while, and she was down at Brighton for a while as well. So I'm like, you're following my footsteps. But no, and then of course, now I mean, Serena, oh my God, she's incredible, absolutely incredible.
You get the feeling with Serena that she could manage any team, anywhere, in any division, with any gender, and that
Yep.
she'd deliver. Just because she's that elite of a coach and of a manager.
And I think it's the game. See, and I've always said the game's bigger than any of us. It's all about the game. If you teach the game, or you encourage others to be all part of the game, I think it makes a difference. And she's a perfect example of, this is all about the game of football. Now we've got these people, we've got this opponent, and this is what we're going to do. And I mean, I can't speak more highly of her, to be honest. But then there's some other coaches, young coaches coming up that that they're mentoring, and they're doing really well. And Scotland, I think, now, especially with the men's getting into the World Cup here, that they're hosting in the States. I mean, that's going to be great. And I know they're doing a lot for the women's game there, and I know Ireland are too. So the UK, in a way, is a breeding ground for excellence and sustainability of making sure that we have enough people playing the game so that it comes through, like the elite talent centres. I'm actually involved with the Lioness Coaching Academy down in Seaford. I go over there and I help them, and we're mentoring former Lionesses to become coaches, female coaches, and teaching kids the right way to go through, to try and make them to be, in that structure. And some people that have been there and done that. Angie Banks is there as well. She's one of my former players. Well, she played for Brighton, but she went on to be great with Arsenal. So she she was 11 when I was coaching her, and we laugh about it a lot. But these, but I'm helping them now, so I'm trying to help mentor them so that they can take it on. And we've got a couple of other things going on that we're trying to help globally for educating and getting more females playing. So yeah, I mean, pretty much. But what ages was I? Was a 24, 32. I think that's when they told me I had to stop playing because I was coaching, um, and they didn't, want me getting ragged, I guess, or getting injured. And then now I'm still doing it at 66. Just over here. Um, yeah, I teach 3-year-olds, for goodness sake. It's great. 3 to 21, but yeah.
Well, the reason that my wife has said you should do a women's series is because we have a daughter who's 16 months old.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. And she said if you want to keep doing the series and then do a book, you need to have something that she can relate to as well. And when she understands what we're all saying. Uh,
Yeah.
but before we finish up, just one thing, the international element of your career is one that's very interesting. If you wouldn't mind just telling us about how the sport has taken you all around the world in different roles.
Oh, it's amazing. I think it's over 41, mostly Europe, but yeah, I mean, it's when you go into another country. Like, I remember there was one country that we went to and we got delayed in it with the plane, but we still had to have I mean, being a counselor and a coach was a little bit hard because I had to go with the council members, because they obviously, you have meetings, you have sit down meals, and that's the right etiquette, that you do. And we had like a 13 course meal at about 11 midnight, and it was like, wow, I got to get up and I got to get up and do practice the next morning. So, I mean, but we used to, and we've seen lots of things that other countries like to show you, some of the most pristine things, whether it's theatres, castles. I mean, some of the stadiums that we've played at, we've walked out of the ground onto the field. I mean, it's just that feeling of going to all these different grounds and these countries that have their own history and their buildings, and it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I think one of the most fascinating countries was Portugal. Was nice, and then they wanted to show off their vineyards.
Never
And
a
I
bad
think
thing.
I think
Never a
they
bad
sent
thing.
us home with about 108 bottles of dessert wine, But it was just like, and then Italy, I ended up being the in charge of the one of our delegates got delayed, so and it was quite amazing really, because it was the year of the solidarity to women. So I ended up doing the speech on behalf of of us, and the only female in the room with about 60 guys, and they come up and they want the Italians. They just want to give you the double kiss, and I said, this is going to take a really long time. But and I was thinking to myself, well, I wonder if John was here, if they was doing that to him. It might, the Italians might, but yeah, it's been quite a journey, really. I should write myself a book, to be honest.
But you should, and if they made a movie of it, I think a lot of people would watch it. But
Oh my goodness, it was in a way, it's unbelievable that a person could do all that, and then I would have to try and get my job in. And I remember going to Barry Lloyd, who was manager of Brighton Men's, because I was working for football in the community, and I got offered the England job. And I said to Charles Hughes, I got to go and ask my manager if I can do it. And they're all laughing at me behind my back, I'm sure. But I went down to Barry Lloyd and I said, Barry, I've been offered this position, and I'm working for Brighton of Albion. Can I take it? And he looked at me and like yeah, yeah. I said, oh, that's brilliant. Like what? What are you doing here? Come and ask. But that's how I was, and I was in a world that I wasn't brought up in. So I thought I better do things the right way, and then I obviously accepted the position, and the rest is history. But it was quite amazing to be part of that, and part of everything really that laid the foundations for what we have now. You
Julie,
know.
it's been an absolute pleasure and privilege, and I'm really glad that we crossed paths
Yeah, me too.
after all these. I think it must be maybe 2 months of trying to catch you. Um,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's been well worth it because this will be listened to and watched by people for many, many years to come. And people who study women's sport and football in England, at least we've got this recording of these stories, which is really, really important. And I think a lot of people can learn from you. So thank you so much for your time.
Well, you're welcome. There is a lot of other things, but as my nephew says, I just Wikipedia'd you, and I got everything I needed to know.